Gentlemen, thank you very much for having me here. I'm going to talk about sudden cardiac disease, sudden cardiac arrest, and sudden cardiac death. And sudden cardiac arrest has been a major issue with the FIFA medical community for quite a long time. You see, this is one of these big subjects we are thinking about. I'm going to talk about some kind of strategy we have against sudden cardiac arrest and death. It's not the only approach, but it's an approach that works and that we invite you to use as well. Sudden cardiac arrest with younger persons is something quite rare, but in general, it is one of the most frequent causes of death. And unfortunately, survival rate, as you know, is quite poor, only about 5%. It varies less between countries, but more between regions. For example, in Switzerland, here in Zurich, we have about survival rate about 5%. But in the southern part of Switzerland, for example, the survival rate is about 3 times to 4 times higher due to a program going on for years. Now, what is the goal of my presentation now? There are 2 goals. First, I want to strengthen your awareness of the importance of the issue of sudden cardiac arrest. And second, I want to strengthen your awareness that especially the layperson are the important ones concerning how to improve survival rate. Not the medical professionals, but the laypersons as they are around where it happens. Studies show us that survival rate is better if help is given immediately. There's one important study published in the New England Journal of Medicine that shows, if you find it in the lower part, survival rate is about 74% if first shock is given within 3 minutes. 3 out of 4 survive if first shock is given within 3 minutes. There are 2 conditions in order to achieve that. First, the devices must be available. So we recommend to have a defibrillator within 60 seconds. So it means if we have it at the reception, it takes me 60 seconds to get there, another 60 seconds to come back to this room, and I have still 60 seconds to use it on the patient. Like this, within 3 minutes I shall be able to give this first shock. And the second condition is people need to know how to use a defibrillator device. I'm going to talk about this strategy we have as one approach, a 4-step program, a 4-step strategy. I go on to details afterwards. But what we know is today, unfortunately, quite a lot of people do not know how to respond to a sudden cardiac arrest. As easy as it is, but they do not know. And we recommend everybody should be able to help in case of a sudden cardiac arrest. But the training must be kept simple, otherwise we cannot finance it, it's not possible to realize it, and it is also more effective if kept simple. ZeroCard stands for Zero Cardiac Arrest-Related Death. It's one approach, not the only one, but it is an approach that works to improve the level of readiness for common people. Now, what does it mean? First, realize, as easy as it sounds, people have to understand or to realize we have a sudden cardiac arrest. That means if there's a person that collapsed, we cannot see that the person is breathing clearly, not responding to vocal stimulus, a sudden cardiac arrest has to be assumed. Measuring the pulse and other measures are not recommended in order not to lose time. Time is crucial. Second, of course, push the alarm button, cry for help, alarm the emergency services, then start chest compressions without delay, and now it depends on whether you start without artificial respiration, you do it non-stop. And if you give rescue breath, then you do it 30 compressions, followed by 2 rescue breaths, 30 compressions. The frequency is about 100 per minute at least. And, well, it said it should be at least 5 centimeters deep, but that's difficult to say or to measure. So it's easier said, push hard and fast, and the chest must be relaxed completely, otherwise the effect is lost. Deflation device, we're going to look at it afterwards, but use it as fast as possible. And afterwards, then, okay, yeah, you should start with giving rescue breaths. The idea why not to start rescue breaths or with rescue breaths that changed a few years ago. On one hand, we do have that time. You know, about 6 liters of blood, person quite well oxygenated, collapses. There's quite a lot of oxygen in the body, but not in the brain and not in the heart. And by giving the compressions, you make that oxygen available to brain and heart. And we made the experience that many people, laypersons, if they have to give air at the beginning, they stop helping the patient because they're just afraid of doing that. Now we'd like to look at the short clip that we use to train people. Could we have the movie?
Everyone can turn a light on. Start a car? No problem. Write a text message? Child's play. And use of an AED is just as simple. In Switzerland, too many people still die after suffering a cardiac arrest. 9/10 of these deaths could be prevented if first aid was given. Giving first aid is simple. If you find someone unconscious and not breathing on the floor, you must realize that this person has suffered a cardiac arrest. Shout for help, and make sure someone calls 144 for medical assistance. Start pumping immediately. On your knees, arms straight, hands in the center of the person's chest, push down and release, push down and release. AEDs are in widespread use around the world. Locate and apply the nearest AED as quickly as possible. Turn the machine on and attach the AED pads top right and bottom left, as illustrated on the pads. The AED analyzes the casualty's condition. Do not touch the patient or the AED during the analysis. If the AED issues a voice prompt, press the shock button. The electric shock really can save lives. After delivering the shock, restart chest compressions immediately and follow the AED instructions. 3 out of 4 people survive if first aid is given immediately and defibrillation is carried out within 3 minutes. Nothing is more rewarding than saving someone's life. The difference between life and death. Zero Card, for less cardiac deaths in Switzerland.
Thank you very much. And back to the presentation, last slide. The aim of this film is to show people, hey, it depends on you. We do not have time to wait for the emergency service, and it is an easy thing. Now, let's have a look at it again. So first, I see a person lying there, or even I see the person collapsing. I can't see any breathing. I talk to that person, she does not respond. I do not lose time by doing things like this or searching for the pulse, but I have to realize, first step, I have to realize it must be a sudden cardiac arrest. I shout for help, call emergency services, and then I start with the compressions without delay, push hard and fast, at least 100 times per minute. What would be wrong if the chest would not be relaxed like this? It has to come up, it has to relax completely. And as soon as the defibrillator arrives, I use it. I open it. It is important to understand each device works the same. So we have here the Zoll defibrillator, that's a good one, but there are many other ones that work the same. I stick this to the patient, or what I could do as well, I just switch it on.
Stay calm.
Tells me to
responsiveness. Call for help.
So
Attach defib pads to patient's
it tells me what to do. I shall stay calm. I need to call the ambulance, and I have to stick the electrodes onto the body.
Attach defib
And
pads.
once
Don't touch patient. Analyzing.
I have put the electrodes on, he analyzes it. I do not touch it anymore.
Touch patient. Analyzing. Shock advised.
Shock is advised,
Don't touch patient. Press flashing shock button.
and the flash button is flashing.
Shock
I
delivered.
push it.
Start CPR.
He tells me what to do now, and I continue with the compressions. At the beginning, it's a bit slower, this one, but then it gets faster. It's just to help the layperson. I do the compressions for 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, it says again, do not touch the patient, and another analysis is done, another shock is given. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, the aim is to strengthen the awareness that sudden cardiac arrest is an important issue, and that laypersons should all be trained because they have the opportunity to improve the survival rate. At the entrance, I have some of these cards for you available. If you have an interest to do such a program at your home, please contact FIFA Medical, and you will be able to get these tools to use. Unfortunately, we do not have time to make lots of question and answer, but otherwise, after the next group, if you'd like, you can ask questions. I'd be delighted. Thank you very much for your attention.